Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it was sent to me by one of our sister. Strange things do happen in this world. The message reads like this. Hello, Brother Nanshi, how are you? Can you please post my own story as hidden identity? I have come here on your platform because I have my own confession that I want to give you, and I hope that at the end of the day, people are going to assist me. I've been trying to pray, but each and every time that I try to pray, there is someone who just comes to me, and that person that will just come to me, I cannot see that person because they are invisible. This boyfriend of mine, he is traditional healer, he is Sangoma, said that this might be the spirit of my mother because I sacrificed my mother. When I sacrificed my mother, it was last year in April. That was when I sacrificed my mother. So this person that comes to me in spirit, then the person will start to beat me up. If I go on my knees, you will feel very sorry for me because the person will start to beat me so hard. Even right now, I have some bruises on my knees as if someone was dragging me, and it is really painful. So this is how my story started. When I came here to South Africa, I was just an innocent woman. I was just working on this other farm, and the problem when you are a woman who is light-skinned, people will just try to take advantage of you. Whilst I was working on that farm, there were a lot of customers that would come to buy the potatoes because at the farm where I was working close to the South African Botswana border, so the people that would come to buy the potatoes, they always say that you are too beautiful to be working on this farm, until finally I gave in, because even on that farm where I was working, I was tired because the foreman had said that you should sleep with me like forever, otherwise I'm going to get you fired. And this man did not want me to date anyone. I had even tried to get my husband from Zim so that he can come to South Africa, but that foreman said that he was not going to allow me to bring my husband because I was going to become his second wife. Yet whenever I'll say, look, you have been sleeping with me, no condom, no what, for a very long time, why don't you just take me so that I can know that I am now your second wife, but the guy will just refuse. So I was tired of being abused each and every time. Even at work, he will say, go into the toilet. He'll just text me, then I will go into the toilet and wait for him. Then when he would come, he would just pull up my skirt and will start to sleep with me. So there was this other client who was also from Zim, who used to come and buy some potatoes, and he used to bring these potatoes in a town called Polokwane. So the guy, when he spoke with me, I said, it is fine, let me just stay with this guy. So the guy, I started dating him. Then one day he came and picked me up. It was on a Friday. I then came for the first time he then took me for the first time to his place, which was in an area that is called Westernburg. That is where we started staying. But this guy, my brother, even though he was someone that had a good heart, but whenever he would get drunk, the guy, he used to beat me up really bad, and he was drunk most of the times, and he kept on cheating on me. When I started staying with him, I don't know how many times I went to the clinic because I had some STIs, until I started fighting with him and he kicked me out of his house. He was renting a full RDP. I then started staying with this other woman who was also from Zim, so we were sharing the room together, but we were now staying in an area called Greenside, and we were working for this other Indian man. Then when I started working for these other Somalians, those ones that sell the blankets, that was when I saw that I was now in deep trouble. Like the first guy, he said that he loved me, and I then started dating him. I did not know that these guys that are from Somalia, when you date one, then you have to date all of them. That is what happened at that time. And when I was dating all of these guys, I just said that this is the same with prostitution, and I started to prostitute myself. So I used to go to this other place called Snake Park. Then I would start to prostitute myself until I came across this other guy who was from West Africa. He was the guy who then took me from Polokwane and came with me to Johannesburg, and I'm still staying here in Johannesburg. So this guy, when he came one day, he said that he was looking for some prostitutes. So a lot of ladies, they refused. They said that they did not want to work with those Nigerian guys because they were scared of them. But as for me, I said, let me just do it, because the money that he was talking about, this was like a lot of money. And I said, if I go with this guy, then what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to work for him maybe for 3 or 4 months. Then I would have made a lot of money. Then I agreed. It was me and this other girl. We then arrived in Johannesburg and we started staying in Sandton, and we were getting a lot of clients, and those clients, they were paying, because the amount that I was getting paid like each and every month, it was at least 6,000 to 7,000. And this was after the guy that we were working for would have removed his commission for looking for these rich clients that we were sleeping with. It then happened that the guy then said that he was going to Cape Town. He went there for a very long time, and the streets were like dry because we did not have a lot of access to these rich clients. When he returned back, like, I was in a desperate situation. As for that guy, and as for that other girl that I had came with from Polokwane, she was staying in Hillbrow. But as for me, I said, no, I don't want to stay in Hillbrow. And I kept on staying in Sandton, but life was really hard. There was this other guy whom I was dating, but the guy, he was very abusive. So I waited for my Nigerian guy to come back. Well, he came back. When he came back, he told me that he was no longer in the prostitution business. He was no longer my pimp. He said that I can find another pimp for you. So I was scared, because the guy that he told me was going to become my pimp, that guy, he was evil-hearted. I knew his girls and the way that he used to beat up his girls, so I totally refused, and I begged him to take me to wherever he was going to, because he said that he was moving out of Sandton. So I begged him. I went and I stayed with him. This guy did not even hide the fact from me that when he went to Cape Town, he was meeting this other priest from his own country who was in Cape Town for a vacation. So he showed me some of the items that he was going to be using. He showed me this other bed. So this bed, it just appears to me. Then this bed will lay some eggs, and later on what he will do is that late at night he will take those eggs and he will place them at different shops. He used to place them at ShopRite, even at Pick n Pay, wherever he wanted. Then early in the morning you will find like a huge sum of money. So he was saying that throughout the night he's like the Tokoloshis, but he said that they are not like the Tokoloshis that we know. They are like the gods from his own country. So they go around the shops where he would have left those eggs. Then they'll start to collect the money. They'll just be collecting money and money. And indeed, when we would wake up early in the morning, you will find out that on the floor there will be money, like money everywhere. When this guy showed me that this was his life now that he was living, I begged him and I said, please, can you help me so that I can also have the same charms that you have? He said it is fine. We then went back to Cape Town. When we went to Cape Town, it was the same time when that same traditional healer from his country was in Cape Town. We had a meeting with a traditional healer, and I was told that since I was not from Nigeria, I was not going to perform the same ritual, because their gods, he said, they are not the same gods from your country in Zim. He said that what we were going to use was going to be my womb. That traditional healer from Nigeria then gave me an egg. He said that I was supposed to go into the bathroom and I was supposed to push that egg into my womb, and to make sure that I was not going to break it. I was then given some lubrication, like that lube that we use when we are making love. I took it and I then took it and I just spread a lot of that lube on my private parts inside, like making sure that I was going to be like wet. And I then took that egg and I put a lot of lube and I started to push that egg gently and gently into my private parts. And then I returned back to where that traditional healer was, and he was also consulting with some people, but most of the people that he was consulting with, they were like your rich, your ultra rich South Africans that wanted some charms to protect their businesses from getting robbed. So I told him that the egg was in my womb. He said, okay, so this egg is going to stay in your womb, and by the time that the egg will be out of your womb, then you will be left without a womb. So at that time, I did not understand. We returned back to Joburg. Me and that guy, we were not supposed to make love until the egg will be out of my womb. One morning when I woke up, I felt that there was something that wanted to come out of my private parts. That was when I pushed. When I pushed, I did not see the egg. I just saw like a very small, dark little creature. This creature just disappeared. So I gave birth to a little demon. From there on, I felt so much pain in my stomach. The guy then rushed me to one of his doctors, but he's not a South African doctor. He's from another country here in Africa. So we went there. When we went there, he then put me on the scan, and I heard him saying that the uterus is gone, and he was not like shocked. He was just having a regular conversation with my boyfriend, and he was like, oh, the uterus is gone, just like that. I was then given some pills that were going to clean my system. After that, then my boyfriend said that yes, we will continue dating, but we cannot stay with each other because he has some rituals that he has to perform, and he has to bring in like a lot of women. Like he has to bring 15 different women each and every month into his apartment and to sleep with them. I don't know what exactly does he do with all of those women. So we date each other, but I am staying So we date each other, but I have my own apartment. So it then happened that I was told that these charms that I was using, they had expired. So I had to sacrifice my own mother. So I then sacrificed my own mother. I was then given this other small plastic dish that was full of water, and I saw my mother. She was inside, only her face inside that small plastic dish, and I was told to stab her. I stabbed her, and there was blood inside that plastic dish, and I was told to quickly return to Zim. The moment that I arrived in Zim, when my mother set her eyes on me, that was when my mom started to get really sick. I had already started with the preparation for her burial. I had already purchased a coffin. The moment that I arrived in Harare, I went to this other funeral parlor where I bought a coffin. And when I bought that coffin, that was when I went to the village, and they did not even know that when I was in Harare, this is what I had done. I had purchased a coffin already. So, Brother Nashi, when I arrived in the village, the moment that she set her eyes on me, that was when she got so sick. When she got sick, instead of me encouraging my relatives to go with her to the hospital, I said, let us go to this other prophet. We went to that prophet, but that prophet, even though he is someone who used to help a lot of people, but as for my mother, he did not see anything. Later on in the evening, that was when my mother passed away. So when my mother passed away, when I returned back to South Africa, I was then told that I had renewed the covenant. I then returned back to South Africa, and I was told that I had renewed my covenant. But now, whenever I try to pray, because I have seen that these things that I did, they are evil, I have to constantly renew this covenant, otherwise I will die. So I had thought of going to church so that at least I can get prayed for. But the day that when I wanted to go to church, I had spoken with this other South African friend of mine, and she said that she was going to come and collect me. And when she called me and she told me that she was already driving to my apartment so that she can call me, Brother Nashi, that was when I had someone walking into my bedroom and started beating me up. And I then said a prayer, and my friend's car broke down because I did not want her to come and see me because I did not want her to come and sit and see me in that condition like that, because I had bruises all over my face. My eyes, they were swollen because of that spirit that had beaten me. So this is my own story. I am even scared to think about praying. Yo, dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by our dear sister right there. That was the translation of the message that she sent to me. Strange things do happen in this world. Yo.